Jesus. We're Hasani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Welcome to the Couples Academy Show.
That's why you need somebody else on the show. I'm Hasani. And we are the Couples Academy Show. Yeah, I'm back.
We weren't expecting that.
Today's Friday. Today's Friday is Relationship Day. Is Ask the Experts. We're here to answer your questions, whatever your questions may be. Make sure you put them in the chat. So whether you're single, dating, in a committed courtship, engaged, married, separated, divorced, trying to get back together, thank you.
Yeah, I got you. It's my job. The
Thank you.
Connect dude come to the rescue.
Whatever your situation is, we want to know what it is so that we can answer your questions. There's a lot for us to talk about. There's a lot that has happened. We're excited about the season that we are in. It is September going into October. September was a big month. There was a lot going on. You had a major retreat. Can't wait to talk about that. And then some things that are coming up around the pike, so we want you to stay tuned. But listen, we want to know who you are, city, state, and country. Let's rep who you are so that we can acknowledge you. Now, Danielle, talk to the people about what they missed, and even those who are watching, who are still in that, you know, they're just basking in the ambiance of what happened when it came to the Unearth retreat.
Well, it was an exceptional experience for everybody. I think when you have gone through a process with people and connected and bonded over time, you went through some hard things, you overcame, you become somebody new. There's just an overwhelming excitement about connecting and gathering together. So there was just a oneness, a community, a connectedness, a lovingness. So many people have reached out just saying how they felt like a celebrity. They walked in the door and people knew their name, and people were running outside with signs and welcoming. The food was amazing.
I bet.
The speakers were incredible. We had some of our own. We even had some other folks who came to join us. There was just so many transformative moments. And here's the coolest thing to me is that it is really awesome to go to a retreat where speakers speak. And if I'm a speaker, I drop a message and I go about my business. But every speaker that was at the retreat, they also experienced transformation. They also got a chance to learn and grow and glean something. Like, nobody was left out. There was somebody there who was Jewish. And without even knowing it, I think it was Janella, who was one of our speakers, who's one of our practitioners. She spoke, and it was Kelly, who was from the outside, who had said something in her teaching that just resonated with her. And so she said, you didn't even know it, but there was something even from me. I was able to connect to my spiritual beliefs and what I do. So it was, God has a way of knitting everyone together to make sure that he touches who he needs to touch. It was powerful. But don't let me say it all. We have a little promo video that Maddie whipped up for us.
You think the people want to see the video?
I think they
might
want to see it.
Here's a quick recap of the Unearth retreat.
Enjoy, walk around. Reject that. You're going to grab the card. So write it all out. In comes Unearth. I want you to know, devil, I'm cool. That's okay. You're gonna let your right hand come to the mat. And wow, I can move. I can dance. In order to take myself past this movement, you do not have to agree with what you're thinking. This is why I said, don't receive what people say. You said it, not me. I don't receive it. We have to get very uncomfortable with people coming to you with their pollution. Wow. 1, 2, 3, light it. How many times have you said to yourself, oh, I'm too much? Not today. I reject that. I was able to disagree with the mantra that had been unconsciously playing in my mind all those years. You receive that? Yes.
Oh, is so incredible. I
Wow, that was
just got
powerful.
chills just like watching it again. I feel like I need to be there again. And so the good news is that, Unearth program it rotates every about 10 weeks. You can always join the Unearth program, and I'm so excited. I'm already looking for the next location for the next Unearth retreat. We do them twice a year. So if you missed it, you still have an opportunity. So let's jump into these questions.
Let's get into these questions. All right, so we have Ben first. He says, good morning from Tennessee. Beautiful day today. Is it possible to have too much information preventing ability to make decisions? By the way, Angel and Donald's testimony hit me as an 8 wing 7. So I think it is possible to have too much information. When you have information overload, it can make things more confusing. Then you get caught up in analysis or paralysis. What do I do? Because you have sometimes too many different sources and the information's conflicting. This book says that video says that practitioner says that intensive says that, and I don't know what to do. Right. And you're all over the place. And so that's why it's important to be careful who you give your ear to and make sure that they have sound information to guide you through a process. Even when, and Ben, I know who you are, bro. I know who you are. Even when you feel you should go one way, you can't always trust your feelings.
Right.
When you're in hurt, when you're in pain, when you have emotions that you're just dealing with, but I feel like I should do this. Well, sometimes you could do things that work against what it is that you ultimately want.
I mean, I agree with that 100%. I would just say, it sounds like you know him, so he has accountability, and I think that's a big thing as well, because some people really struggle to pull the trigger about things. Some folks are professional learners, and they could talk to you about 1,000 things.
True.
They know it through and through, in and out, but have actually never executed it for themselves. Hasani and the guys always talk about the rule number 1. So you got to dig into people to find out, okay, I know you know a lot, but what have you done, right? And so really it's powerful to surround yourself with accountability to push you into action. And sometimes we need that. Literally, most people need that in some facet of their life. I don't think anybody escapes that completely. Most people need somebody in some area of their life to push them into action, and that's where you step into some powerful accountability.
So Ben, reach out to us. Let's see how we can help you. Okay, Angel, there's a lot here. Come on, Angel. What's going on, Angel? Part 1. It has been 10 months since D-Day, and we are doing better. Spouse has been doing everything needed to regain trust, and triggers are less and less. However, although a great level of trust has, part 2, been restored, I still feel an overwhelming insecurity to check his phone from time to time. Will this ever completely go away? I think it is because this was always how I would find out about the, part 3, affairs. And always when things were going well, will I ever be able to overcome this behavior?
My thoughts on that, just hearing it right off the top of my head, is that, for a certain season, it's going to be this way, that you're still going to need to be able to check. It's like I'm verifying the evidence, right? This is how we do life in general. We're always verifying, checking credit reports, checking behind. And for a little while, it's got to be that way. But you have to exhibit some level of emotional intelligence at some point. Because after a while of seeing the evidence and seeing the proof and seeing, okay, coast is clear, nothing here, nothing to see here, over and over and over again, it could become fatiguing to your spouse who is trying to do the right thing, who has a track record of improvement, and it's like, it becomes undermined for them if after all this time you still don't trust me. So it's a fine balance. Again, accountability helps to just help guide you, somebody to talk to, say, hey, listen, it's been 2 years, and I don't know how long it's been, but and he's on the right track, but I still want to check. And at that point it becomes something that you need to work on within yourself, to just say, you know what, it's okay, I can relax.
And I think what you just said is key, accountability, right? So there's got to be a system of accountability. So there's things that your husband can do that can contribute to your insecurity, and things that you can do to contribute to your insecurity. Like if your spouse is still secretive, clandestine, if he compartmentalizes, if he struggles every time you mention, can I see your phone? What you need, if he becomes defensive, if he's not an open book, if he's not any of those things, even when he's doing nothing, just taking that attitude and disposition can fuel your insecurity and your distrust for him. So he has to be willing to be open and honest. But to Danielle's point, if he's doing that,
and he is, apparently.
Right. If he's doing it and he has that track record, then a lot of the work has to be done internally within you, because there are going to be times when, like, for instance, she just said that she discovers it every time she looks at the phone. So if that's the way I find out, then, you know,
Right.
So there are times when a feeling just comes on you, and it may be a legitimate feeling, but then sometimes there's a feeling that comes on you, and it's based upon insecurity and past hurts and pains.
Triggers.
And it's nothing, right? And it's triggers. So I'm saying what you said, but I just, just saying it from a different voice. Initially, you both have to overcompensate for the deficit that's been created. And that season is going to be as long as that season is. At some point, you can begin to enter into a level of normalcy and have checks and balances within your system of accountability within your marriage. And there can come a time when those feelings go away, but it's not just going to happen.
Right.
Like, here's the deal. Like, you have to do work to become stronger, to become healed, to become whole, to work that faith and trust muscle up to a degree where it no longer hits you the way it hit you. And even when the thought comes, you don't have the same knee-jerk reaction operating in haste and panic that you did before, because you're working that muscle.
And you know what I would say? Reach out, because I do have Overcoming Triggers ebook that I could send to you. Because at the end of the day, you got to, like, you didn't mention how long it's been, I don't think. Oh, it says 10 months. It's been 10 months. Okay. It's fairly recent. Do you know what I mean? So to your point, them both opening up and over-exaggeratingly being, overcompensating with openness and honesty. Like, when you feel the urge, don't sneak, right? Because if he's operating in honesty and showing you and doing all the things, then there's no need for you to tiptoe to the phone in the middle of the night and sneak. Because don't think that the unfaithful partner can't be triggered too, especially on the path to recovery. And like, you're still checking on me. It's been 10 months, I'm doing my thing. So just overcompensate by openness and honesty, and then get busy working on you. It's never too early to learn how to deal with your triggers and start practicing.
Excellent point. Darnell wrote another book of a question. Okay, part 1. Here we go, Darnell. Good morning from Charlotte, North Carolina. Married, going on 5 years, getting past infidelity, but there are still behaviors are still not changing, but he's stating he's changed because he's not cheating. Okay, part 2. But I'm seeing behaviors similar to when he did cheat, and it's reminding me of the past infidelity trauma I faced when he did cheat. But he's saying it's all in my mind because of what he did. Part 3, am I crazy? And then there's another part 2, getting over insecurities. How can I get past the thoughts of him looking at other women when I feel insecure? He seems to attend to the need for a short period of time. His guilt gets to. Okay. He gets dismissive.
Like, I get the gist of it. It just sounds like, the path that you're not on the same path. It doesn't seem like he's willing to open up and do all the work that is necessary to help with all your insecurities. And are you crazy? I mean, you could completely feel crazy, because it's crazy making when you are dealing with somebody who is disregarding of your hurt, your pain. And I think that's one of the biggest issues. We can get over a lot of stuff as human beings, right? But it's the lack of acknowledgement that really causes us to suffer. And that lack of acknowledgement comes in many different forms. It could come in, I'm not doing anything, but you're showing me the exact same behavior. You know that it feels disrespectful to me that you're looking at other women, yet you're still doing it. And so it just sounds like to me this is a situation where you need to get into some counseling. Oftentimes, our mirror reflection, because as wives and husbands, we are each other's reflection. We stop looking in the mirror completely oftentimes. And that's how we go off track, right? We no longer are aware of how we're showing up and what we're doing, because we're just living in our own space, in our own head, in our own way. And sometimes we need to get in front of somebody else who can reflect, somebody outside of the situation who has nothing to gain or lose, right? Who can speak into that person's life and help to get you on a better path.
I hope that's making sense. Listen, we see a couple more questions, but we're going to take a quick break. While we're doing that, if there are any other questions that any of you have, please put them in. We have about half a show left to address them. Listen, we talked about this amazing Unearth retreat, but guess what? There's a Foundry experience that's coming. So for all of the men who have been a part of Foundry, even if you haven't been a part of it thus far, here's your opportunity to experience something that is life-changing that's coming up in January. So watch this. We'll be right back. When 45 men from all walks of life come together in one place for one purpose, there is a collective harmony that produces an amplification of power that leaves an impact on the lives of men that cannot be erased. A fraternity of legendary men, all at the tipping point, on the precipice of greatness, meeting for one weekend to turn their worlds inside out. For the first time ever, the Foundry experience. Not an event, not a seminar or retreat, but an opportunity to come face to face with the man you were always destined to be. If you want a life that's better than the one that you are living, meet us January 2023 for the Foundry experience. Hey everybody, my name is Hasani Pettiford.
And I'm Danielle Pettiford, and we are the co-founders of Couples Academy, and we cannot wait to join you all the way in Lagos, Nigeria.
Yes, for the International Family Life Practitioners Conference. Listen, it's going to be happening on October 20th and 21st at 9 a.m. It's going to be at the David Christian Center, so make sure you show up. If you're a therapist, a practitioner, a coach, if you're anywhere in the marriage space and you want to take your business and your ministry to the next level, be there. Hey guys, we're back. Listen, I'm excited because in just a couple weeks, we will be heading to Lagos, Nigeria for an amazing conference. Actually, there's two. There's a practitioners conference. So, this is the first time this has ever happened, period, as far as I know. But practitioners in the country of Nigeria are going to be coming together, figuring out how they can really make an impact on that nation. Because, hey, America is not the only place that has relational problems. They exist all over the planet. So the fact that we're going to go there, we're excited about it. And then there's a marriage conference for 2 days as well. So if you are in Nigeria, if you are in a surrounding nation, or if you want to get on a plane with us and fly on over there, listen, the information's there. We would love to have you. It's going to be an amazing transformational experience that we're really excited about. And also the Foundry event, Foundry experience is going to be January the 20th through the 22nd. Did you see that place? Did you hear what we said? Listen, this is something that you want to sign up for. If you are a woman and you have a pulse and there's a man in your life, you need to do whatever you need to do to get that man to be there, because they will come back changed and transformed. That is the mission and the purpose of what it is that we do. All right, we got a question. I'm going to go over to, I hope I'm saying her name right. Is it Soraya?
Soraya.
I believe so. Can a marriage survive after over 100 sexual encounters, diagnosed with bipolar, with depression, and hypersexuality? So here's the question, or here's the statement. If you're currently married to this person, you've proven that it has survived after 100 encounters. Anything is survivable. The question is, should you still remain in that relationship? I think the temperament of each person is different in a relationship, because some people have left after one affair. But here we are after 100 encounters, and you're still there if this is about you and your situation. So I think everybody's tolerance level is different. Their willingness to accept pain is different. Their value system is different. There's so many complexities that go into what causes one, couple to sustain something like this and another couple who cannot.
Yeah, I mean, I also think, what are we saying is marriage here, right? Because to me, what constitutes marriage is fidelity. And, when we're talking about 100 betrayals, sex addiction, bipolar disorder, this is a serious situation. Yeah. And so do you want to live a life that you're always in survival mode? That will literally kill anyone. Our body begins to release something called cortisol when we are stressed, and it causes your belly to explode. And I mean, the level of emotional and physical trauma that surviving in a marriage like that will bring about. I remember just thinking about the bipolar of it all and the I think she said sexual addiction or hypersexuality.
Yeah.
Like you're just probably trying to keep. When I read this, I imagine somebody who can't swim, who's in an ocean trying to survive the ocean. And so, to me, you need to join Unearthed. That's what I think, because at one point or another, you've got to rectify things for your life. That person needs to go get help to be a better person for themselves. They're self-destructive as well. If you've been with 100 partners and you have this hypersexuality and you're bipolar, this person needs help. And more importantly, you're here saying you're trying to survive this marriage. You need help, and you need to get into the Unearth program so that you can get strengthened, get grounded, and be able to make sound decisions for your life.
I'm thinking, who counted to know that there was 100 sexual encounters?
I'm thinking that if you counted up to 100, you probably
it's probably more.
You probably missed a few.
So there's so many more questions I have with this question than an answer that I can give you. And so while this show is good because we can speak to certain things, this requires a deeper dive. I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you reach out to us so that we can get more into the story and be able to help you in a way that is impactful. Because, listen, a lot of times we're seeking the right advice, but we wind up going to the wrong people to get it, and it doesn't serve us.
Or we're not getting it at all. We're out here surviving on our own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doing the doggy paddle and struggling. So, yes, reach out, get some support. We're here.
Someone asked the question, what are the most common challenges that people face in a marriage? And, if you've watched this show long enough, you've heard us talk about these top 5. And it seems that no matter what couple comes through Couples Academy, whether it's for a last chance weekend, regular counseling, private, whatever the case may be, they're hit by one of these 5, if not more. So let's go through this list. Number 1, finances. Finances is a huge, huge, huge issue that a lot of couples struggle from. And their struggle is not always the same. While some struggle with unemployment, underemployment, one makes more than the other, there's this spirit of competition and their power struggle. Some struggle with financial infidelity and why did you spend the money and not tell me? Some struggle with why aren't we in financial alignment? I think we should pay off debt. I think we should invest. Like, there's all types of things. So finances is a huge thing. But then another thing would be sexuality, right? One has a higher libido, one has a lower libido. Their choice of interests are different. The amount of times they engage in it. There's an incalculable number of issues surrounding sexuality. But then you have parenting, the way that we parent our children. I think you're too hard on the kids. I think you're too light. You don't have any discipline. All you are is law, no love. So that's an issue. But then in-laws, right? I don't like your mama. Well, I don't like your daddy. Well, your sister get on my nerves. Well, your brother has so that's an issue, because when you marry someone, you're not just marrying that person. You're marrying into a family and a behavior and a culture and a way of doing things. And then obviously the big one, communication. That's probably where couples struggle the absolute most. And I think really that's the main issue. People's inability to effectively communicate, which allows problems to fester or become unresolved in so many of these other areas we just mentioned. So once again, communication is huge. Yeah. And that's the thing that we struggle with the most, because it's more than just your words, your tone, and your body language. There's such a deeper dive. And that's why I love the power of the Enneagram, because it begins to show you your internal wiring, how you feel, how you think, how you approach life, and how you interact with other people.
I mean, and that's that's where I was going to go with it, because communication absolutely is king as far as the problems, but it's really the when people feel offense, right? We're offended by the communication of our spouse, whatever that might be. That could be actions, right? Or spoken word, things like that. We are offended. And oftentimes we don't know why our spouses do the things that they do. Mm-hmm. We often also don't know why we do the things that we do. It's just something that I need. I don't know why I'm offended when somebody is not defended, right? When somebody doesn't stick up for me or choose me. What is that about? I hate when they do that. I don't know what it is that this person needs to have so much of my time, And so, that Enneagram is so powerful. Mm-hmm. It allows you to step out of your own box and into the box of your spouse to get a perspective, a bird's eye view of how they actually experience life with everyone, not just you. And it just helps to increase empathy. So when it comes to communication, the big resolve is definitely the Enneagram.
Yeah, a couple more questions. Zach, why is the sink running in the foundry?
I was thinking, is that all you took from it, Zach?
Zach, I'm going to say this lovingly because I say this all the time. You stupid. I say that all the time. But you know what, Zach? I was thinking the same question. I was just like, why is the water running in the video? And why is the stove on?
Because, you having been in real estate, you would do that. You would turn lights on. You would run water because you want everyone to see this is a functioning and this is how it looks when it's on. You want to have movement.
Zach, I was thinking the same exact thing. I said, well, it's part of the video. Here's another question from Darnell. What would you recommend to new couples who want to be involved with Couples Academy? Participating first, where's a good start? So number one, whether you're a new couple or you've been together for quite some time, we highly recommend that you download the app. You got to download the Couples Academy app because it's an interactive experience that you can have with us. We have over 800 videos that we've created that you can tune into. There you have access to our entire team. You can find out about any events that we have going on. You're able to, we even have devotionals, couples devotionals in there. We have blogs and articles. It's just the number one source for all things concerning how to have a better relationship. Also, we have a practitioner team, Walter and Charmaine Jennings. They are a perfect couple to work with simply because if you are not married, let's just say you're engaged and you're considering marriage, they have a phenomenal premarital program. If you are newly married or in a new relationship and you want to know how to form it and come into alignment, they have the material, the insight, the skill set, the tools, everything you need to begin to build a healthy foundation for a long-lasting, mutually beneficial relationship. They could be found on the website. They could be found in the app. And then we have master classes that we do all the time. We have retreats. We have intensives. We have a lot of things. But as a start, I would say connect with them. They are amazing, and they can give you exactly what it is that you're looking for. All right, here's another question. Boyfriend and I have been dating for a year and a half. I want counseling, but he doesn't want it. If only in a relationship, not marriage, how much should you fight for a relationship?
Wow. From my vantage point, this is the time to fight, right? Before you are married, before there are documentations, before you have merged your entire lives together, and now to go your own separate ways is literally breaking your whole world. We wish that we could get our hands on couples long before they need infidelity recovery, but most people don't. They're in la land. They overlook all the very evident issues, and they're just focused on that wedding. I think this is the time where you really, dig your heels into the ground and say, listen, in order for us to move forward, if there is a move forward on the table, we have to do counseling. It's absolutely imperative because we need to see close up right now what we will be dealing with in the marriage.
It's a non-negotiable. Straight up and down. It is a non-negotiable. Do you realize how many people come to us and say, man, I wish we would have done this. We would have had this. We would have known this. We wouldn't have wound up in the pit that we find ourselves in. And so many people race down the aisle because they're in love. And it's just like Joker. You need foundation. You're about to enter into one of the biggest decisions that you'll ever make in your life. Listen, you can choose a college, a car, a career, all types of things. Nothing is as significant as choosing a life partner that you spend the rest of your life with. There was a statistic that said 90% of a person's success or failure is determined by who they select as a mate. That was found in a book called The Millionaire Next Door. Okay, so there's truth to it. You want to be clear on who your partner is, and check it out. Whatever you struggle with now, trust and believe. Take that to the next
10X.
level after you say I do.
Go ahead and 10X it.
It 10X it. It don't get any. So if he's stubborn now with certain things, get ready.
Oh my goodness,
get ready.
Get it.
Because what is he chasing? He already got it. You see what I'm saying? Usually you're on your best behavior before I do.
Hasani used to say this all the time, that when you first meet somebody or when you're in the dating process before you're married, you are showing your best foot and you are hiding the ones with the crooked toe and the bunion. Do you remember you used to say that all the time?
I used to say that, yeah.
Well, you can't hide anything. You can't hide the crooked toe and the bunion when you get married. Now everything falls out of the closet. And it's unapologetically, because where you might have been bending and trying to compromise and all these things in the beginning, now you are fully in your whole real self, and we have to deal with it. And so, yes, this is the time. Reach out to us. We have support that you need. Did you mention? I think you did mention Walter.
Walter and Charmaine.
And Charmaine, powerful. They do an amazing premarital, and it doesn't have to even be pre-marriage. If we are preemptive enough, we can be so ahead of the game. Even before we're even thinking about marriage, we actually know enough to say, yes, I want to get married, right? Like going through the training to check each other out and dig into the history and know what is necessary to know long before we even considering marriage is really what we should be doing.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, I hope that this is helping. This is Friday. This is Ask the Experts. We do this every single Friday, so make sure you tune in next week for another episode. But listen, at the beginning of the week, we have a new series that we're starting. We're excited about that, so make sure you tune in. Have an amazing weekend. We know there's a lot going on. Spend some time with your spouse. Spend some time with your kids. Connect. Make it a wonderful one. We're entering into fall. It's getting a little bit chilly.
My favorite season.
Time to cuddle. Time to do what you do. All right, guys. Love you. And listen, if you haven't signed up for the retreat yet, the Foundry experience, make sure you do that. But till then, see you on Monday.